Shortly before he died, Coolio began speaking out about things that happened to him early in his career. In the 90s, he started saying people were doing weird and inhuman things all around him, and it cost him his fame. So he knew the price to be paid if he started speaking out again, which is what he did right before he died. At one point even saying he has no fear of death, and if he does die, it just proves what he said was true. Check this shit out.
How was it in the music industry? That whole conversation about the gatekeeper drill, you know, the rituals, things people got to do, blood sacrifice thing. You know, I don't know if you got into all that, but can you kind of go there, being as though you were in the belly of the beast in the music industry?
I've seen some crazy shit. I've seen some crazy shit, bro. I seen some shit like, wow. I seen some shit that made me go, what the fuck? Is this really happening right now? I'm at a point right now in my life where there's a lot of shit I know that I want to tell people. It's a lot of things that I want to teach, but I'm afraid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm scared because I got 4 grandchildren, and I got children that are in this world. I got people I care about. I have no fear of death. If somebody's after me or if somebody's watching me, then they know enough about me to know that I have no fear of death. So killing me don't mean shit. It just confirms that what I said was true.
Bro, it seems like the more knowledge and wisdom you gain or open up your third eye, you really don't fuck with people, bro. It's like everybody move weird and off. It's like, the fuck, why everybody, it seems like they do the same, act the same, talk the same, think the same. Like, man, stay y'all asses over there, man. I'd rather be weird by myself than to be cool a bunch of I'd rather be weird by myself than to be cool around a bunch of motherfuckers that's moving on some shaky, I don't know if you my friend, you might talk about me type shit. Hey, I'm glad I found my own peace and started loving myself, because the shit that's out here, man, you better start loving yourself, because the shit out here is weird. Everybody want to feel love, but ain't nobody giving that shit out, man. Love yourself to the fullest, and when you get more love to give out, that's when you give it out. Till you fully love yourself, you giving people broken pieces of you that you gave the other people, and then you'll wonder why it ain't working. Nobody deserves the broke version of you. Nobody deserves the broke version of me. I want to be all I could be for me. And if somebody fall in that mix, cool. Somebody don't fall in that mix, cool. That's how you got to be. You got to be good if it happen and good if it don't.
No way when it gets hard. She can't take the pain, she can't get scored. She hurt anyone that gets involved. Don't wanna come in while take it this far. Oh, wow. She gon' do the race, just not this one. Oh, wow. Love is a game you used to cheer for. When I was down to talk, you weren't there for. You woo woo. How you
Does anyone else find it crazy that Black people have been suppressed and subdued the most? And yet our culture is one of the most strongest and influential cultures. Excuse me, our culture is the strongest and most influential culture worldwide. Like, it doesn't matter what country you go to, there's gonna be a small sect of people. Sometimes it's a large population, but whatever country you go to, countries that don't even have Black people, you're gonna find a population of people listening to hip hop, people dressing like us, people trying to talk like us, people, like, I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like, the influence. And it's crazy because most of these countries are anti-Black. I mean, we live in a world that has been conditioned to be anti-Black. And yet our culture and our influence is the most worldwide. That's crazy.
Set up on 6.4 acres on Randall's Island, Tent City is now complete and is expected to house at first 500 single adult men. Over 18,000 asylum seekers have arrived in the city since the spring, overflowing the city's shelter system and forcing the city to set up these tent shelters.
If you're a single adult man, you're going to come here to this facility starting tomorrow.
When migrants first walk in after intake, they will see a recreational room set up with rows of couches, TVs, Xboxes, and board games. There will also be a phone bank so migrants can connect with family in order to find more permanent housing.
We can do that in 24 hours, maybe even less. Many times, it's going to take longer than that. It could take days.
Next, there is a cafeteria that will provide migrants with 3 meals a day, and snacks, coffee, and tea will be available 24/7.
Those meals are all culturally appropriate. It is South American fare. The menu rotates on a regular basis.
In the next tent, asylum seekers will be staying in this refugee camp-style setup. This tent has 449 beds, but there is also a second tent next door, also filled with cots if the city needs to expand.
Right next door in the other shelter dorm, there's another 449. We're only opening up this location, this roof right now, for 500.
There is also laundry services on site, showers and lockers for migrants to store their belongings. The tents are kept at 70 degrees. The curfew for migrants will be 10 p.m. Buses are expected to run at least once an hour from this location. And every person entering will also be tested for COVID.
Anybody that tests positive for COVID is going to immediately be taken to one of our isolation trailers.
There will also be 24/7 security here. The mayor's administration once again pleading with the state and federal government for any sort of financial assistance.
Is this a FEMA camp?
Governor Kathy Hochul and the federal government haven't provided a single cent to help the city. Reporting from Randall's.
I think it's crazy to put all these clouds to block the sun. You can tell they just put it here to block the sun. Like, you can tell, like, it's so flat. And even, like, it looks like something is underneath the sun. Like, those clouds right there, like, it looks like a compound that's meant to just stick together. Like, it looks so funny. Those don't look like real clouds at all.
And as it turns out, the cleanest. That cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, and in about an hour's time, it will actually rain. It's raining! That's unbelievable! NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather.
Hey, I don't know if y'all know this, but I actually work in a cloud factory. We create clouds and make rain for the city of Chicago. The government doesn't want you to know this. We control the climate.
In the oceans. That's how you get to the outer realms. So the real outer space is beyond the Antarctica and deep within our oceans. That's why if you look at their outer space missions, they're actually in water, floating around in water somewhere in Las Vegas, Nevada, and deep in Colorado. They ain't out of space. That's why if you look, it's so many people now putting up showing that these space shuttle missions is fake as hell, man. Showing you that they ain't never been out of space. If you really want to go outer space, get your ass on a submarine and go deep within the water. That's the true outer space. And there's so many different alien bases and military bases underwater and in the actual ground. They're hollowing out mountains now. They're hollowing out mountains. You can Google this, and they're making inside of mountains underground bunkers and underground military bases. So if they're doing that to the mountains, imagine what they're doing underground in space, in the water. So if you want to go outer space, go deep sea diving.
You said it's aliens.
Yeah, aliens. And all alien mean is, so Elion is a Hebrew word. That's where they get aliens from. It's really El Elyon. And that just means of the Most High God. Technically, we are aliens. And that's why they studying us. That's why they stealing our melanin. That's why they trying to understand the functioning of our biological vehicles. That's why they can't understand our circadian rhythm, our biological clocks. We are the most different species of humans that the planet ever had. We're so different than them. Our teeth are shorter than theirs. Their teeth are wider and longer. Their canines are longer than our canines. Their hydrochloric acid inside their stomach is hotter than ours.
You talking about white people?
I'm talking about white people. They produce an acidic enzyme in their mouth. We produce an alkaline enzyme in our mouth called amylase and amylose and trypsin. They can break down proteins and meats. Our stomachs can't break down proteins and meats because the pepsin and the hydrochloric acid doesn't get hot enough to break it down. They digestive system can go through something called putrefactions, or can't. Ours go through something called fermentation. A lot of them grow tails. Their hair grow towards the earth or towards the ground. It curls and it grows towards the sun. We have high melanin content inside of our melanin. We have something called selenium. They have low melanin content inside their melanin. They have something called ammonia. And they have a high sulfur concentration inside their cells. And that's why when they get hot, when it get hot outside, they get colder, or if it get cold outside, they get hotter. That's why you can see a white man running in Daisy Duke shorts in the middle of the winter when it's 20 below freezing. He got on a tank top and he hot. Or when they get hot and they get around water, it changes and the sulfur mixed with ammonia and it gives off this actually canine smell. And that's why they say they smell like wet dogs. You see, this is all scientifically proven.
Everybody else selling vegan burgers. Nigga, I'm about to sell 100% American hamburgers.
Got a question though. Can you
Real
eat a slutty
meat burgers.
vegan? Can you eat a slutty vegan?
Yes.
They got an outside.
They got it's not competition.
Right, exactly.
But it's gotta be a yin and a yang. For as many people who want a vegan burger, it's some fat motherfuckers and motherfuckers who don't give a fuck about all that. They gonna eat at the slutty vegan and they gonna eat both just so they can see.
Ain't no such thing as vegan burger. They talking about they put plants and make it taste just like meat.
No,
think about
I'm just
plant-based.
Real meat.
Taste like meat.
Real meat burgers.
Shit taste just like a steak. Plant-based.
Vegan.
Taste like steak.
That motherfucker be good though, I ain't gonna lie.
Them motherfucker said vegan sausage. Taste just like sausage. How do it have the same taste? What plant did this sausage vegan burger came from?
Alright.
You ain't just finna keep feeding me, you know, I ain't ask no question. Sausage, plant-based.
You gotta ask what you call it.
Taste like sausage.
I fuck with my boy. What's the Beyond Meat? John Sally. He got something. He'll explain it to you.
All we need to do is get our own oxes. Our own shit. Our own lamb.
We're gonna leave it like it is.
No, I'm telling you, we can't leave it like it is.
I'm not gonna do all that, man.
Or we gonna be eating plant-based.
I'm not doing that. I'm eating
real food that ain't even plant-based.
Y'all can do that.
It just say plant-based.
I'm eating the same shit I've been
eating. They say, look, if you put plant.
As you know, there is somewhat of a discrepancy or an issue between Vlad TV and Corey Holcomb. And it's really based on this premise that Vlad TV is coming out saying that Corey Holcomb is all about money. He asked Corey Holcomb, to come on to his podcast. He also called Corey Holcomb a liar, right? But according to Corey Holcomb, he was like, listen, I'm the one that's hot and popping right now. I've been in the industry, in the game. If you want to come to my podcast, that's fine. But, I'll come to your podcast. Vlad TV was like, look, I don't come to podcasts. In other words, trying to say that, Corey Holcomb, his podcast wasn't good enough or something like that. But he still wanted Corey Holcomb to come on to his podcast and kind of squash the beef with Ari Spears, right? And so, Corey Holcomb was like, number one, no, he's not going to do that. And he don't need to do that because, again, he wants to operate with the money that he's getting from his stuff, from his hard work. Why should he go and give it to Vlad TV? But Corey Holcomb said something that was very important, and I want to play that here. Outside of his criticism of Vlad TV, but let me play that here and I'll come back.
To people, and it's this is the difference. When people hear from a Caucasian person, they look at it different than when they hear from a black person about what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? But I believe I done built up my weight enough where I'm going to start taking advantage of some of these relationships that I believe I can put together. Like when I reach out to people, I get mostly positive feedback. I mean, I talk shit. But I'm saying I ain't no vicious man. I mean, but if your bra look like that, you really don't need to be getting no signifying match with me. You cannot step to the world. God damn it.
I mean, most people probably assume that you would mean, you know, because birds are intimidating. So I'm sure they.
There ain't no such thing as a bird. That's what you do when you eat a lot. You bird. Learn how to talk.
She look like she be hitting him in the back.
She look like she be hitting him in the back.
Should he dressed like he on the episode of Living Single? That's hilarious.
Oh, Moni in the middle. He's Moni in the middle.
So what he says there is very important, and I'm gonna tell you why. This is very important because he said, listen, when white folks reach out to black people, it's different than when blacks do it. In other words, blacks believe that whites are more professional, they're more willing to do the job right. And I'm gonna just tell you the truth. When you run a social media content business, it is a lot of work.
From that. One of the things that scientists say separates the humans from the animals is that humans mate face to face. Animals mate from the rear. Well, it's popular now that that's what they're all doing, mating from the rear and doing all kind of other distasteful things and calling it sex. That's a bad sign. Okay. There's a different connection, as we all know, of face to face than another kind of way. People are getting hurt. They're choking each other. They're spitting in each other's mouth, doing all kind of things that would never, ever have been considered as sexual pleasure. There's something wrong in that. I don't know how long they're going to be practicing that, and they're even doing oral sex in people's anus and their behinds, all kind of stuff, crazy stuff. And I'm talking about it because we need to know, and we need to start trying to teach something differently. Okay, that's not no love. That's not no showing of love. That's something crazy. And the girls are accepting it. The young women are being choked, or somebody spitting in their mouth. All kind of insanity things, and they calling it sex. That ain't no sex. I don't know what kind of beast life that is. One of the things.
In the 90s, all the main hip-hop stars were rapping conscious. So there was the Brand Nubians, it was the Poor Righteous Teachers, it was Ice Cube, it was Arrested Development, it was X-Clan, it was Queen Latifah. Black was in. So whenever the enemy seen that, wait a minute, this is not just some mumbo jumbo over top of some stolen instrumentals from jazz beats. This hip-hop thing really has sway over people and can shape and mold public opinion. They can create a revolution with this rap. So they seen that as the dominant artists had an alliance with consciousness and the nation, they seen a transformation taking place among black people. Black people wasn't eating no pork. X-caps everywhere, African medallions everywhere, brother and sister. Everybody was talking about struggle, freedom, independence, doing for self. And they knew that they couldn't allow that to remain in existence. So they hijacked conscious, inserted gangster. Now you got drill and selling dope, womanizing and abusing, and verbal pornography is the new style of music now. Why? Because they know music is the most effective teacher on the planet. There ain't nothing more effective of teaching than music. The minister said this, he said, one good rap song is worth more than 1,000 of my speeches.
Understand the difference between a college training and a college education. You cannot get a college education. You can get a college training. There's a difference. An education, that's the difference. You go get trained for a particular course for a particular career. Understand the difference. I was college trained. All the stuff that I'm giving you right now, I got after college, and I stayed in that motherfucker for 8 years and didn't learn nothing. But I was trained in my particular field without my degree that was going to be my career. College education is not allowed to the masses. Don't be confused about a training. That's how they confuse a lot of our people, by thinking that they're educated, and then and most people, once they become trained, all avenues of education cease. They don't study nothing else after that, because somebody has conferred upon them this degree, and all of a sudden they say, okay, I'm educated. That's a trick. That's real. That's real. You're supposed to study from the cradle to the grave.
You may be surprised to see who we found using tricks to cover up their license plates.
Apparently, they're law enforcement.
You know, in Hollywood and in the industry and the stuff we do, there's a lot of like insider secrets to keeping your career going, and a lot of insider secrets to making things.
And you're done. You're done. You're done. Let's talk about religious trauma, racism, and spiritual abuse. Because although I'm here to help you raise your kids, I need you to understand that there are different types of abuse that you can inflict on your child without even knowing it. So let's dive in. Ever since the colonizer left wherever he came from and went to America and Africa and all over the world, there has been this need, this dying desire to demonize Black and Indigenous joy, Black and Indigenous art, Black and Indigenous sadness, Black and Indigenous anything. And then take that same thing that they're demonizing it, redo it, and take all the seasoning out of it. It's disgusting. She thought she ate. What now seasoning and what she did now. She ain't put no garlic powder in that nothing. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, this makes sense. She's doing the same thing that's always been done by people like her. People like her, what do I mean? Christian supremacists. And before y'all jump down my throat, listen, I'm saved, sanctified, the Holy Ghost filled. I was basically born in the church. I have studied the Bible in English, Biblical Hebrew, Koine Greek, and Aramaic. Don't try me. And my first job as a teacher was as a Bible teacher who also taught Biblical Hebrew. Baby, I'm right there. Don't do that. But let me tell you about this Western Christianity, because that's different. I don't know what they got going on over there. They ain't worshiping my Jesus. They worshiping somebody else. They worshiping God, which stands for guns, gold, oil, and drugs. That's what they worshiping. They worshiping my God. They worshiping white Jesus with some red, white, and blue short song with some Crocs and a cigarette hanging out his mouth and a Coors beer in his hand. That's the Jesus they serve. That ain't Jesus. That's Jesse. Colonizer Christ, if you will. Jim Crow Jesus. But anyway, there's been this long history of demonizing anything that's Black and associating the rhythm with something that's primal or evil. Pause to read. Pause to read again. And pause to read one more time. These genres of music were started by Black people. They were perpetuated by Black people. And as soon as it started to permeate its way into white culture through the children, they immediately like, oh, absolutely not. No, get this devil music out of here. Get this Negro music out of here. Until a woman like her took that same music, took all the seasoning out of it, and then made it palatable to those audiences. Then it was accepted by mainstream media. And now think about what that does to not only your children, but to children that are Black or Indigenous. Y'all remember Satanic Panic in like the 80s and 90s? Y'all remember that crap? Y'all thought Satan was around every corner, under every rock, for no particular reason. Making Black and brown people afraid to even express their own Black joy and express the culture and the music that we have made for generations. You made us afraid to even do that. And then try to blame Black culture for the reason why Blacks are in the position that they're in, instead of looking at the people who demonized and shoved us into the situation we're in today. For instance, let's look at rap music. Have y'all ever really listened to a lot of these local rappers and listen to the lyrics that they're talking about? A lot of them are depressed because they're experiencing trauma from being in the hood that was pushed on us when people moved their jobs out of the inner city. So then those inner city suburbs that were Black and brown turned into hoods, turned into ghettos, where they now had to struggle to barely survive. And so these street poets, these Shakespeares, these black Shakespeares are out here creating the most beautiful poetry to help cope with the fact that they're living in hell. And y'all are demonizing them for that. Sexualizing people who are just shaking their hips, which is something that's very culturally rooted in us, because you don't understand it. Automatically putting the idea that it's evil because you don't get it. And y'all know what y'all are doing. That's the biggest problem. You know what you're doing. The name of the song was called Jericho. That's a whole biblical reference. The fuck out of here.
What in the day Clone Tyrone is going on with the hair products? And this for entertainment purposes only.
Found that black women are exposed to higher levels of toxic chemicals in hair products. And many of the potentially dangerous chemicals were not even listed on the labels. That's according to researchers who looked at 18 different hair products, things that like anti-frizz serums, leave-in conditioners, even hair relaxers. They found that 72% of the tested products contained harmful chemicals that could interfere with hormones like estrogen, which could lead to hormone-related issues in women. Marissa Chan with Black Women for Wellness, an environmental research and policy manager, joins me. And we were talking in the break because I sort of said, wait. Is this widely known? Do we know this? And you were saying this is the first study of its kind that brought this kind of result.
Yeah, this is actually the first study of its kind that looked into specifically the concentrations of endocrine disruptors in hair products marketed to black women. And for those who don't know, endocrine disruptors, they are chemicals that are known to mimic their body's natural hormones, and they can do that, through several different processes. But they can block, mimic, as well as affect your body's hormonal system.
We know that black women have disproportionately suffered from hormone-related health problems, like fibroids. I've never understood why so many black women have fibroids.
I'm not going to go too deep. Those who have eyes, they will see clearly. Once again, go watch this goddamn movie so you understand what I'm saying. Let me know what y'all think about what y'all just seen in the comments. Like and follow for more wisdom and stay tuned. And by the way, TikTok, this is just for shits and giggles, entertainment purposes only. Entertainment purposes only.
This is the Tibetan library found hidden behind a wall in a monastery. It contains 84,000 scrolls, which are said to record 10,000 years of human history. It was discovered in 2003 and apparently, only 5% of them have been translated. Why should we trust our tiny history books when there is libraries like this and the one hidden from the public in the Vatican containing 50 miles of scrolls? I guarantee the stories in these scrolls and the scrolls in the Vatican vaults don't match the narrative we've been given. Even if you read the scriptures removed from the Bible like the Book of Enoch and the Gospel of Thomas, they open your eyes to more than the Bible does, and that's why they were removed. You gotta ask yourself, do you really trust the multiple authors, editors, and translators who created the book you read from? Do you even know who they were? Why they were instructed to write it, and who by? Two of the most powerful pieces used to enslave the masses are the Vatican and the Crown of England. Both were involved in the creation of the KJV. King James wrote the Book of Demonology before he had his own Bible knocked up by Sir Francis Bacon and the Jesuit order. Francis Bacon literally helped create the English language and was said to be one of many occultists behind the character Shakespeare. It's also speculated that he was the father of Freemasonry. You really have to start questioning the origins and etymology of everything you've been taught. Only then will you start seeing the bigger picture. Follow Unbind Your Mind and sub to my YouTube for more content like this.